Welcome to Business Coaching Secrets with Karl, Bryan. If you want to attract new high-end coaching clients, fill live events, and build a wildly profitable coaching practice where business owners pay, stay, and refer, you've come to the right place. In this podcast, Karl provides his keys to the kingdom for finding and signing high-paying clients and building the coaching business of your dreams. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, coaches around the world, welcome to another episode of Business Coaching Secrets. It's your boy, the Road Dog, with none other than the man, the myth, the pole vaulting legend, Karl. Bryan is in the house. Shoots, welcome to the program.
Shoots, did you see me in the Olympics pole vaulting?
I sure did, bud. I sure did. What's next? Are you going to do horseback riding with Snoop next too, or what?
That's it, Shoots. That's it. We'll leave it. There you go. Suiting up for the French. That's what was happening. Anyways, what's going on? What's going on, Road Dog?
No, God. Now I got that visual in my head. Not much. I do appreciate Snoop Dogg's participation in the Olympics and the fact that Martha Stewart made him freaking ride a horse. Like, it's so good. It's so good. Like, it's unbelievable. Anyways, what else is going on? Like, what's going on in the Caribbean lifestyle of Karl Bryan? Just swim. You know, there was a book once written called Swimming with the Sharks. I think you could write your own book, probably Swimming with the Dolphins.
Well, want to hear it? So yesterday, went for a scoot out on as I do every morning, and 4 dolphins come scooting up and jumped in, swam with them, to-do. And they just hang around. They're crazy how friendly they are, right? They're always in the same spot. But anyway, but then I jumped on my my surfboard, right? So my electric surfboard, no joke. And I went for a scoot down, down Popular Beach, to-do. And then I saw a manta ray, and I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool, right? So I turned around, and as I'm turning around, I'm like, oh my God, what's that? And it's right in this one spot where I see like a huge, there's a big branch. So I'm like, oh yeah, no big deal. That's nothing too exciting. That's just that branch, but let me go see the manta ray. Well, I turn around, and I'm telling you, I saw a monster shark. And this is like really, really clear water, like bathtub. So like when I tell you I saw a shark, I mean, I'm staring at a shark. And I go over sharks all the time, not a big deal. But this shark did not look like the others, man, let me tell you. Anyways, and what you do not do is you don't go over a shark. The rule is, guess what you don't do? You don't turn around and go back. This is when you get into trouble. And of course, guess what I did? Anyway, so later on today, but then I thought, whatever, I got on with it. I was looking back, and I was like, I wonder if I'm going to see the fin come up. And I just, get out of there as quick as I can. Forgot about it. My wife tells me last night, she's like, oh, did you hear there's a big 7-foot shark? If you look in the blah, blah, blah chat, there's a big 7-foot shark just off the shore. And I'm like, where? And she tells me, and I'm like, oh my God, baby. I go, not only do I know about that, but I scooted straight over the top of him. So, and then went back for a second look, which was, anyway, so there you go. So 4 dolphins yesterday.
And a shark. That shark could like get you in one bite. I think you're like a little, little snack for him.
This would not have been good. Anyways, so enough of that. But that's what's happening. That's what's happening.
Speaking of, did you hear about the shark attack in Hawaii?
No. Was there one?
Legendary.
Oh, the guy on the paddleboard?
I don't know. He's like a legendary surfer and like lifeguard and everything else. Apparently, he was killed by a shark attack the other day.
Oh, okay. No. No, another one, a paddleboarder. He was out spearfishing. But anyways, okay. So look, let's rock, dude. Let's rock.
That's it. Shark Talk with Karl Bryan. Welcome to the program.
Yeah.
Okay, now that we talked, and I'm sure you've updated your life insurance policies after seeing a shark. Let's change gears a little bit. Let's just go right into the Zen thought of the week. What do you got for us there?
Zen. Oh, we're going straight Zen.
Buddha mode.
Well, you know what? So as we don't like to timestamp these things at too high of a level, but there's a bit of a stock market action going on, and it's not good. And then a bit of a hurricane swooping through. The south coast of the US there. Here's a thought. Not all, how do I say it? Not all storms are coming to disrupt you. Some are coming to clear your path, right? So obviously I'm not talking about the hurricane here. I'm talking about what you might be up to and what might be going on. But again, the storm might be there to upset the apple cart. It might be there to clear the path for what's to come. Actually, I might go in the other direction though. So there's a bit of a Zen thought, but you know what? I was talking to somebody just literally an hour and a half before doing this, and conversation was something to the effects of, play small, win small. The Stampede. You ever heard of the Calgary Stampede? That's where, I grew up very close to there. And it's like you play small games and you win small prizes. I'm sure that's a quote from somebody. I don't know who it would be. But at the end of the day, thinking about it, like you play big games and you stand to win some big prizes. So if you want to make today better, take the vision for the future and make it significantly bigger. So you want to make today better, make your vision for tomorrow significantly bigger. And I believe it, Dan Sullivan, that I heard, I'd be making a meal of that, but Dan Sullivan talks about that all the time. And I love Dan Sullivan, and I think that's some very, very good advice. But so the reality is though, like just small game, small prizes, big game, big prizes, that if you want to move the needle, and kind of do something special, if you want to accomplish something that could be defined as impossible or like a monster task, you're going to have to take on big risks. And what you're really going to have to do is you're going to stare failure right in the eyes, right? And that goes for, look at all the different businesses, or like, the Fire Phone as an example comes to mind for Bezos. They took on, that was a big game, and how did that work out? And the answer is horrible. You look at Zuckerberg, and it just, the guy swings and swings. He swung with WhatsApp, and he swung with when he bought Instagram for $1 billion, everybody thought he was literally nutso, right? But then he took a massive bet on the metaverse, and he literally renamed the company. He was so sure. I can't remember what he was doing. He's spending like $1 billion a month on the metaverse, and the dealio, the VR thing that goes over your eyes. Have a look at the numbers, and you're going to see that will go down. That makes the Fire Phone look like a joke, as one of the very, 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 very poor bets. But the thing is that going to stop them from swinging next time or swinging the time after that? And the answer is no. So if you want to move the needle, you want to do big things, you're going to have to accept that failure is possible. Or what does Muhammad Ali say? Impossible is not a declaration, but it's a dare. So yeah, that's not very Zen-like at all, but maybe the storm, might be coming there to clear your path. Actually, here's one for you, Shoots. Again, I don't know how Zen this is, but, everything that you would say at a funeral, you should be saying at the birthday party. I might leave you with that thought. And that's, at the end of the day, nobody's getting out alive. You can't take it with you. I believe that there's a Steve Jobs was lying on his deathbed, and he had a reasonably long quote, which, by the way, may or may not have been him. It might have just been conveniently attributed to him and then gone viral. But it's something to the effect of, just I can't take any of this stuff with me. And, just was, life is not, there is no dress rehearsal, right? You don't get a second crack at it. So enjoy it. So there you go, Shoots. But everything that's would say at a funeral, say it at the birthday party, or maybe in a phone call, an ad hoc phone call. So there you go, Shoots. That's my answer.
Wow. Obviously, to enjoy life, you need to have resources to be able to enjoy life. So can you, right now, simply, and I mean, I'm going to just like all caps, underline, bold, all that stuff, simple. Can you give me the simplest roadmap to success that you could give to a business owner or a business coach?
Okay, I just want to translate that for everybody. Road Dog thinks that the first answer was too long, so he's telling me, make this simple, Shoots, make this quick. Okay, simple roadmap to success we got a business coach and a business owner, they're teamed up and you want me to make it simple for them to best chance of success. Did I encapsulate that?
That's pretty spot on.
Okay. My instincts say to say this, like, pick the right, you want to build a great company, have great clients, right? So what you got to do is you got to pick the right client. Like a great man is hard on himself. A small man is hard on others. Old Confucius saying. So again, you want to build a great coaching company, choose great coaching clients. It's so much easier to help somebody go from successful to uber successful than it's going to be to help somebody struggling and have them move the needle towards mediocre, right? Notwithstanding, one can afford significantly higher fees on average, but significantly more important than that, it's you're going to be able to get wicked results, right? So simplicity will assume that you chose the right individual, which would always make things easier. I just go to questions, like at our core, we're not complicated. Road Dog is not complicated. I am not complicated. You are not complicated. And your uber successful entrepreneur coaching client is not complicated either, right? So questions, look, I just go little red arrow, you are here. Here's 3 questions. Where are you? Where do you want to go? Why do you want to get there? And the third question is mission. It's all 3 are really, really important. But what you might find is when you ask number 3, it might adjust the answer to number 2, right? I always say that, because, a client will go or a business owner will go and buy advertising. Why do they buy advertising? Because they're buying ads to try get leads to try get clients to try get revenue to try get profit to try get cash. Profits and cash, not the same thing. They're trying to get cash so that they can get freedom, right? So they buy the ad to get freedom. They don't recognize that. They don't realize it. But the thing is, again, and you've heard us say this 1,000 times, but the way that Road Dog defines freedom, the way that I define freedom, and the way that you define freedom, and then your uber successful or struggling coaching client, they'll define freedom differently. So why do you want that might adjust a little bit of the roadmap. And remember what they ultimately want in a roundabout way. They frame it up in all different ways, but they want freedom. I mean, you don't want to be rich. You don't want to be wealthy. You want to be free, right? So help them get it, establish legitimately what they want. Establish the little red arrow, and then what they want, where they want to go, and then why they want to get there. And then the straightest line between those 2 points, not the curvy one, not the detours, to the best of your ability, to best of their ability. There will be detours, but we just don't want to have a complicated roadmap. And I think that you're well on your way. Another, actually, shoots while I'm on a roll there. So 3 questions, right? Here's another 3 questions. When you ever had to make a big decision, and I mean like a monster decision, or you were making a monster move in your business or your client's business, there's 3 questions, and this is Keith Cunningham 101. Question number 1 is, what is the upside? Question number 2 is, what is the downside? Question number 3 is, can you live with the downside? Right? And question number 3 is the one that you need to answer, right? So what is the upside of this decision? What is the downside? If everything goes sideways, what's the downside of this decision? And can I live with the downside? So shoots, but where are you? Where do you want to go? Why do you want to get there? I think that those 3 questions are going to make it simple. What do you think? Do you like? Do you agree?
I do like, the one that I like the most there is, why do you want to get there?
Yeah,
I love that, right? I don't think there's a lot of people very clear on that. And that's sort of where I've had the biggest mental shift myself lately. And that is on the, just because there's certain metrics and, financial numbers that we want to hit for ourselves, the question we need to be asking ourselves is, how can we help our clients achieve those for them? And then by default, we will get that for ourselves.
What does Zig Ziglar say? You help other people get what they want, and you can have anything you want, something to that effect. And yeah, Shoots. This is it, my brother. Well done.
Hey, a while back you were going over, what was it now? The things you need for 7 figures, I think that was. And what was it now? There's like network, leverage, productivity. I mean, I'm guessing those are all correlated here. Yeah.
Yeah. You want me to list them?
Yeah, please, if you don't mind.
Yeah, that actually, and I know I literally just had a social media challenge, and I actually provided this exact, and it's so what you're, what's the wording? 7 things you need to get to 7 figures. Seven business coaching things you need to get to 7 figures as a business coach, I think. But the bottom line is that look, you need 7-figure status, 7-figure value, 7-figure visibility, 7-figure leverage, 7-figure productivity, 7-figure, how do I word it, ability. You need a 7-figure ability to overcome obstacles, and then you need a 7-figure network. So there's 7. So 7-figure status, right? Like if I look at your Facebook profile, like what you just said a minute ago, like, are you giving tips and helping people in your industry, and then people chiming in and even adding more value? Or am I going to go to your Facebook profile and see you pitching and selling everybody constantly, right? And especially when you're using like a Trojan horse style post, right, where you're trying to make it look one way, but it's actually, like just an opportunity to sell. So you can tell a lot by looking at somebody's social media profile, and I don't think you're going to need to contemplate it for very long to realize that the person on there giving. It's the book by Gary Vaynerchuk, right? What is it? Jab, 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 right hook. Jab, 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 right hook. If I look at your profile, let's make sure that there's 3 helping posts before there's a big punching one, right? So, and do you feel worthy of that high? So then you go, oh yeah, but who? So here's the problem, right? You go, yeah, but who am I to go and educate these people? Who's going to listen to me? I don't have the authority, right? And remember, you got to be the doctor in the white coat with the stethoscope around your neck. You don't need anybody to give you permission to act like a leader. You just act like it. You just adopt. When you play on a hockey team, right? It's like everybody knows who the captain is before the coach tells everybody who the captain is. And if he picks the wrong person, that's still obvious who the real captain is. You know what I mean? Who the leader is. It's just, you just walk into the dressing room and take over, right? Anyway, so then the other one, 7-figure value. I think that one goes without saying, but at the end of the day, you've got to be able to deliver, right? 7-figure visibility. It's like Grant Cardone talks about, he's got fans and then he's got haters. That's his competition is obscurity. His big thing is when somebody hasn't heard his name. He's not worried about if you can't stand him and you think his work ethic is too much and he sells too much or he's too pushy or too much hustle and grind. He's worried about if you don't recognize his name, right? And love Grant Cardone or hate him, right? Again, I think I see good and bad there. I know that the guy is a billionaire, and if a guy's a billionaire, I think you should be smart enough as a business coach, as an authority of somebody, helping entrepreneurs, that you could look at him objectively and be able to learn something. And by the way, if he's not your jam, then please ignore everything he puts out there. But, it's Gary V, it's Tony Robbins. It's the higher, love Tony Robbins, hate Tony Robbins. The reality is that what he's doing is working, right? So the bottom line is you need to have 7-figure visibility. Again, when I go to your Facebook profile, how many, do you got your 5,000 friends? When I go to your business page, what does that look like? You doing regular, ask me anythings, these types of things. 7-figure leverage. So we're talking to business coaches, like to know how to approach the accountant and get them to lift their eyebrows and not have you. The problem is the accountant says, oh yeah, I'm interested, and then never replies back, right? If you've seen that, you've felt that, you've experienced that, it's not the accountant, it's you, it's the approach, right? How to go to a magazine, how to go to the billboard company, how to go to the advertising medium, how to go to the incubator, how to go, how to, leverage like testimonials and social proof, which lead to referrals. How do you go about leveraging that? Again, you want to sell one-to-one coaching, sell yourself. If you want to sell group coaching, you sell the results of your members, right? And by the way, if you're new to coaching, don't go straight into don't go straight into group. Learn to do one-to-one really, really well, and then move to group. Don't do it in reverse order. And then, by the way, so just a little bit of leverage. What most people do is they start at one-to-one, and then they say, I don't want to do one-to-one anymore. I only want to do group. Not realizing that the real magic of group is the really, really high-end one-to-one clients that will come from it. You want to get a $60,000 client off of a text message, it will be from somebody inside your group. And then they just want a higher level of access, a higher level of help, a higher level of, attention from you. So one-to-one to group, continue to do one-to-one, but you just jack up your price by high percentages. So anyway, podcast, how to get on a podcast. When you get on a podcast, you know how to, leverage that opportunity. Are you doing videos? Are you doing Facebook? Are you doing YouTube, etc.? So the bottom line is understanding like leverage. When you take a video and you put it on YouTube, how long is it there? And the answer is, unless they're forever pretty much, right? But the magic is that if it's any good, it can be 6 months later and people can still be watching it. It can be 3 years later and still watch it, right? Or your audience, the people that you're influencing, they can go back and watch. And in some cases, they go back and go, wow, she's come a long way. He's come a long way. Or in other cases, they go and they're just, looking for you to be speaking on certain topics. And that was 2 years ago that you talked about it, right? 7-figure productivity. Look, the secret to this, the secret to cleaning your room is to clean your room, right? Don't do 6 things. Don't go back and forth and take a break and come back to it. Just pick what you're going to do, go all in. It's like your inbox. I can tell you, people go in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. Just reply. It's only going to take 15 seconds, only going to take 20 seconds, or hire somebody to go in and do it for you, by the way. But just make sure that, you're not spending a lot of time, going back and forth, going back and forth, going back and forth. That's not a 7-figure producer, right? 7-figure ability to overcome obstacles. This is both unimagined and imagined, right? Imagined and unimagined. I'll let you guess which ones are worse, the real ones or the imagined ones. And your instincts are correct. The imagined ones are worst, right? Are you worried? One of the things, imposter syndrome. Are you worried that they're going to find out that you're not legit, right? Anyways, and the last one, I believe that's 7. I got an acronym in my head here. Yeah, so 7-figure network. Who are you networking with, right? Like again, I say if you're the smartest person in the room, you are in the wrong room. If you're the wealthiest person in the room, you might be in the wrong room, right? So who are you networking with? Who have you networked with? And who are you attempting to network with, right? Do you think these 7-figure, high 7-figure, 8-figure earners are just going to welcome you into their network? Like, not even batting an eyelid? And you need to feel, it's a Jedi mind hack. You got to feel worthy to be networked with, and then you got to frankly be worthy of being networked with. Think of 7-figure value, right? When you do get in that room, are you going to be glad that they're there? It's like, my buddy, a good buddy of mine, he went to go play hockey with some ex-NHL players, right? Okay. Here's the question. When he showed up, no doubt if you loved hockey, you'd love to be able to go play with a bunch of ex-NHL players, right? The guys who played in the pros and made millions. The question is, when he showed up, did he deliver on a high enough level that they would invite him back? Or did he show up, hungover, a few beers in the dressing room before he went out there, and didn't back check and didn't put in, or, cross check a guy in the face or took it too seriously, etc. You need to understand the rules. You know what I mean? You need to be worthy. When you get inside that room, make sure you both feel worthy and are worthy, right? So, and again, and went over a few there, but like systematically, you want to be like, moving on those. Are you going to be perfect initially? No. And and again, rule, like, you want to clean your room. Don't work on all 7 at one time. move the needle a little bit in each one, right? Let me just tell you, so shoot, it's going to throw it back to here in a sec, but the highest leverage position is to be in front of ideal clients, right? So I'm going to say getting clients, quote unquote, in the wilderness can be a landmine, can be a little bit not as quite as, so think about this. If someone, if I could go to someone else's list of 50, right? 50 clients, not prospects, not people they know, but 50 clients. And those people show up for a webinar event that I run, and then I only get 2 clients out of that. Those conversions aren't great, right? But I think you could agree that that is better than going to get potentially 10, or let's say 5 or 6 clients out in the wilderness, right? The wild, think of the networking group where you don't know anybody, you show up, you give your elevator pitch, that's you in the wilderness. And frankly, it's 100 times more expensive or difficult, right? Look, framed differently, if I get, 100 clients out in the wilderness, there will be 80 I wish bought from somebody else. Not all clients, certainly not all coaching clients are created equal. And that goes for you, and this goes for your high-end clients, right? So the solution is to work out and frankly get really good at working out who has your ideal clients, right? Like if someone is working actively with an accountant, would it be fair to say that they have a legit business and they could probably pay you, assuming you're able to do a good job and move the needle a little bit, right? Versus, let's just say, the financial planner or the insurance guy that's showing up at the networking group. Do you see how the difference might be? One in the wilderness and one, only 2 out of 50, the conversions sound horrible, but which, by the way, they should be significantly higher than that. But what I'm trying to frame it up is that, you sign up, 10 of these clients, you don't want the dynamic where you wish that 8 had bought from somebody else, right? Or if somebody is advertising locally, or they have a digital marketing agency handling their account, or they're advertising on the billboard on the side of the highway, or they're spending money with Google and they're actively, they've got somebody actively working on SEO for them, right? And they're handing over their credit card for that person to do so. The ad doesn't just show up on the side of the highway, right? The ads on Facebook don't just magically show up. Somebody's taken the time and somebody has been paid to go and basically do that, right? So would you agree that that's a better coaching client than somebody who is not advertising, that doesn't have an accountant, that doesn't have a bookkeeper, that doesn't have a promotional company, that doesn't have a website, that didn't spend $30,000 on a website, that didn't hire the graphic designer, that hasn't engaged a business broker to find or an M&A expert, like someone to help them potentially grow through acquisition, right? Well, somebody who's looking to grow their company through acquisition, I don't need to meet them to know that they might be a fantastic high-end coaching client, right? So, and then I will just tell you this though, that the X factor, any audience that you get in front of is ranking you. Our society, unfortunately, and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok just makes it significantly worse, where we get a society that is addicted to comparing, right? So your prospects are pegging you on a list relative to others in the industry, right? And dependent upon the level that you operate at, local, national, or maybe even international level, you're in, you're in competition, whether you realize it or not, right? And no matter how high or how far you climb and how good you get, that high school, like junior high school behavior is going to happen. It happens. Social media, how many likes, how many comments, right? You do it, I do it, Doug does it. You get the sexiest man alive, and they're like, oh, you chose Tom Cruise when you could have chose The Rock, right? I'm sure neither of those won the hottest man in the world or sexiest man alive recently, but you get the idea. LeBron James is an insane basketball player, and nobody could dispute that he should not be debated as the greatest basketball player of all time, right? If they're being serious, come on, let's get serious, right? But who does he get compared to? Who can he not move away from comparison to? And your instincts are correct, Jordan, right? And then, by the way, who also? Kobe, right? And then he often again will get ranked below, different, the Magic Johnsons and the Larry Birds and Wilt Chamberlain, etc. But at the end of the day, the guy is just absolute freaking superstar basketball player, undeniable. Love him, hate him, irrelevant. But he can't get away from. Imagine being that good, that rich, that successful, that many championships, and you can't get away from it. And it happens to Elon Musk, and it happens to Jeff Bezos, and it happens to Zuckerberg, it happens to Tony Robbins, it happens to Jay Abraham, it happens to Tim Ferriss, Gary Vee. We all get it, and so will you. So my question is, when it happens, the Jedi mind trick is to remember, you don't want to be less judgmental. You don't want to be better at being judgmental. The elite stance, the best stance, is to not even notice. So not letting comparison bother you, not worrying about, the likes and the comments and the shares and the this and the that. What if you didn't even notice, right? So addiction to comparison, it's a bit of a thing. So shoots, there you go. That's my, that is my answer. But those are, you want to build a 7-figure business coaching company and then move towards 8, or you want to get to multiple 7. That's what you need to do. So there's my answer, shoots.
Little side question there for you before I go into, because I want to ask you, because we both know getting them in the wild, JVs, I want to get there in a second. Just a quick question for you. You talk about getting in the right circles and the right groups and all that sort of thing. Yep. Like if you want to be that, I guess, attractive character, if you will. So for a guy like yourself, right, for you to get yourself in front of or in the right circles, yep, how do you do it without like almost being starstruck? You know what I mean? Like on my hike that I do every week, obviously like Dan Martell's there, but there's another guy, my buddy Trent, like he sold his last business for $630 million. Right? Like it's hard to kind of go, yeah, no, he's just a regular dude when you know he had that type of an act. Like, how do you maintain and not make yourself look like a fanboy or foolish?
Yeah. Well, look, I said it in there, like you gotta be, you know what I mean? You need to be of value, but you gotta feel worthy of that. You know what I mean? To be in that person's. But here's I think maybe like a hack, right? How do you look, you met these guys, right? And that's that founders hike.
Yeah.
Look, the answer is events, which by the way, I personally, and again, this is to a fault. Like I don't go to events. I haven't been to, events, and there's no question that I could, you know what I mean? My network could be 1,000 times as exciting if I went to events, right? But I just, for whatever reason, kind of like to lock myself in my basement and do my thing. But that is how you do it. And you get toes to, there's nothing like getting toes to toes, belly to belly, eyeball to eyeball with somebody. Like that guy that you're talking about, right? Who sold his company for $600 million. You know what I mean? Like if you were at 7-Eleven, he was there, you'd be like, hey man, how's it going? If you were at, a restaurant, you're getting seated with your family and you walk by, you'd be like, hey man, how's it going? Do you know what I mean? Like you guys are now peers. And it happens with events, but it's a Jedi mind trick, man. And you gotta feel worthy, man. And you are, you know what I mean? Like you are enough, I am enough, they are enough. He is enough. And let me tell you, you know this, but he's got his own stuff. You know what I mean? Believe me, he's got his own stuff and he feels a bit of imposter syndrome. So really, it's like, when somebody gets the diagnosis, right? Okay, so we won't even say it, but let's just assume it starts with a C. What do they, more than anything, what do they want? They want to be treated the way that you used to treat them. You know what I mean? They don't want sympathy. They don't want the pouty eyes. They don't want you to cry when you see them, although there might be a little bit of that. What they want to do is they just want it to be normal again. All right. Believe me, this guy, when people speak to him, he can feel, you know what I mean? Not, he's got spidey senses for the fanboy. And what he really, really likes, and the person that he is attracted to, the person that he's going to enjoy, go on the hike, and he's going to end up speaking to for 10 minutes instead of 1 minute, or whatever that's going to look like. It's going to be the person, you know what I mean, that just treats him normally, very legitimately. Feel there's no, an ulterior motive. That's not even where I'm trying to go. That's not, and although he gets, believe me, he gets that like crazy. Don't need to meet him. When you buy a Lamborghini, what they should do is put a sign on the dashboard that says everybody you know is about to ask you to borrow money. You know what I mean? And when you drive by in a Lamborghini, if you wave, you're a dick. If you don't wave, you're a dick, right? So just it's the comparison thing, right? Anyways, that's I think, you know, number one, you meet those people in events the same way. That's exactly how you met them. Although that doesn't feel like an event, it absolutely is, right? Everybody's rowing up. You're going to this thing. It's on a weekly basis. And then they just want to be, they want to get into a conversation. They want to talk without the fanboy approach. So, and not that you're doing that, Shoots. That's not, you know, that I'm not saying that in any way, shape, or form. I know what you're asking. But that's my answer. What do you think?
Yeah, no, love it, love it. Again, it's just when you put yourself in situations at times, it's what was interesting. Shoots, here you go. I'll flip this one on a dime for you. So I roll up, and I hadn't been to the hike in a while, right? So there's about, I don't know, 25, 30 people there now in this hike. And I roll up, and I literally had two people as I walked up go, "Hey, you're the Facebook ads guy. Like, I've seen you all over my feed." It's just because of the ads that I do locally, which is hilarious, right? So now they view me in a higher sort of level than it's so funny how that works.
Okay, I want to explain something. Okay, so that yes, and yes. Okay, here's what literally we just did a social media challenge, and I was explaining this to the group. Okay, so when the realtor, okay, so we've all driven down the highway, and then you see the signs of the realtor, right? And no doubt you ask yourself the same thing that Road Dogg asked himself, and I asked myself: does that thing actually pay for itself, right? And the answer is, in many ways, no, right? But here's how it pays for itself in spades, okay? I want you to think defense over offense. Defense over offense. So what happens is when you buy the billboard, who drives by it? Yes, individual, you know what I mean? The general public. But your sister, your brother, your best bud, the guy you went to high school with, the guy you saw at the bar, the guy that you go to the hike with, right? So then they see you, and then what they do, so then they think, oh, wow, Road Dogg is legit. Road Dogg is the real deal. I didn't realize that he was that, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you know, he's taking himself seriously kind of thing, right? Now, don't think of this consciously. This is more of a subconscious thing. And then what ends up happening, because your own network, you're a realtor, and then we've all seen it where, you know, somebody's brother refers somebody else. And certainly a buddy from high school refers somebody else. And all these people are referring other people. And by the way, it pisses off the realtor. He's like, my gosh, how could he refer that guy who's an inferior realtor, doesn't even know him as well? When we went to high school together and we had beers on Friday, and then he's referring the other guy. When you do the billboard, you're going to find that all of a sudden the word of mouth and referrals from your existing network goes up. The same way that you just described that, Road Dogg, you start running the ads, and it like that, you know, that is your warm network now, right? And all of a sudden they go, oh, you're the Facebook ad guy. And you're exactly right. Your visibility, right? We just talked about it a minute ago. Your visibility went up, right? Your value in their eyes went up, and your status absolutely goes up. And quite frankly, what then happens by default is that your inner status, do you know what I mean? Like you all of a sudden feel worthy more than you did prior to being the Facebook ad guy, right? So what do you think? But you follow me there? Do you see how it's as much defense as it is offense? And that's so, and by the way, social media. So when you post really, really valuable stuff on social media on a regular basis about growing businesses and your business coaching and the success that clients have had, and do a Facebook Live and do an interview and promote your interview and promote your podcast, etc. Remember, the lurkers, the people who like and comment and heart it and, you know, share it, blah, 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 blah. A lot of the time, those aren't your best buyers. Your best buyers with 100% certainty, like this is 100% certainty, it's your lurkers. It's the people who don't like, don't share, don't comment, don't mention it, and they just watch. And what are they looking for? Again, not consciously, but subconsciously, consistency. So when they see you know what I mean? They see consistency. So if you just post once and then not for another month, that's going to be a lack of consistency, and they are going to feel like, Now you haven't turned the corner. You know what I mean? Like that word of mouth referral isn't going to come. So anyway, so your social media profile does the exact same thing. So
it's funny how that, and the crazy part is, as much as I can doubt myself with the best of them, by the way, what was interesting as I get to the top, and then a third guy, he moved here from France 3 years ago, not in the Olympics, anyways, and he's a video editor, and he says to me how he's impressed with the courage that I have to be able to produce and put videos online. And I was like, really? That's fascinating. So, sometimes you got to.
That takes guts, man. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things. But now, speaking of, I want to get this back on track, and I just want to finish up with this last question here. We talk about going out into the quote unquote the wild to go and get clients, and obviously, look, the easiest and best path really is to have a JV, right? You got a joint venture partner.
Yep.
If I needed to go out or want to go out and grab JV, like what's the recipe for success there? Like how would you go about doing that?
Yeah. Okay. Agreed. Out in the wilderness, the opposite of that is a referral partner, a joint venture, a warm contact, etc. So identify your target first. Are you looking for let's just call it a joint venture then. You want to go to an accountant, you got to identify that you want to go to an accountant. You have to isolate the accountant. Accountants is not a thing, right? Like the accountant, Dave Smith. Now you've got yourself a target. You got to zone in, bingo, bango, bongo. Or maybe it's going to be an advertising medium. Again, that's the radio station, that's the magazine, that's the billboards, that's the online directory, etc. The advertising medium, same thing, but that's arbitrary. You got to go and say, look, this specific magazine and this specific, person runs the ad division. This is the person that I'm going to speak to, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean? You really got to nail it down. Remember, little red arrow, you are here. Like, go to, where are you? What's your market? Who's advertising? Who's got like a really good maybe there's a radio station locally that's crushing it, and maybe there's not. Maybe there's a magazine locally that's crushing it, and maybe there's not. Maybe there's an old school newspaper locally that's crushing it. Maybe there's not. Maybe there's 3 old school local newspapers crushing it. Maybe there's not. But a little red arrow, I want to do a little bit of homework. I want to isolate who my target is. Is there a business broker? There's a M&A guy? Is there an investment banker? The guys, buying and selling and merging and selling companies, go do a deal with them. Promotional company, selling T-shirts, hats, mugs, etc. That would be a good thing. Website designer, somebody building websites, graphic designer, not a bad idea. So that now you do that, right? And then you want to, and I've said this many a times on different podcasts and different interviews, etc. You want to provide a solution to their problem, right? So the accountant, I don't go to the accountant and say, send people to me. I go to the accountant and say, look, you send me people, and then I'll make sure that they start coming in to see you multiple times per year. And I'll make sure that they have always got up-to-date financials, because if I can't read the scoreboard, can't tell the score. I don't know Warren Buffett. I don't know the winners from the losers, right? So the accountant loves the idea. When you go to, when you have up-to-date financials consistently throughout the year, you're paying significantly more to your accountant, and that's a great client for the accountant. Well, you just took a silver level client and turned them into gold, and maybe a gold into a platinum. Well, the accountant sees me as a solution to his problem. That's a deal that's going to get done. Or you're looking at like an advertising medium, right? They sell ads, and then the advertisers drop off, right? You send me 3 people that bought ads in the last 90 days, and I'll make sure that they, to the best of my ability, you're not magic and you don't pretend to be, right? But I'll make sure that they continue to run the ad, and my goal will be for them to double the size of the ad, because I believe that advertising to profit is a superpower. So I'm gonna want to jack that up, right? So advertising. Business broker, same thing. People go to a business broker and they say, can you sell my company? Well, many times the answer is what? No. Well, are you a solution to that? The guy wants to sell the company. He wants to be able to sell the company, but the guy's not ready to sell the company. You bridge that gap. Say, bring me somebody, and within 12 months, I'll have them systematized, ready to go, and back to you as a client. Promotional company, they want to sell a bunch of goods. People go to the promotional company to get branding, and then I'll let you guess as to whether or not that's what they really did. The pens, or they're looking for more clients. They're looking for marketing, right? Do the pens and the t-shirts, do they help that? And the answer is kind of, sort of, but not really, right? So yeah, that's, you know what I mean? So I'm going to the promotional company, and again, providing a solution both to the promotional company and to the client, by the way. Website designer, look, they're building $5,000 websites, and they want to be building $25,000 websites. Okay, well, you help bridge that gap potentially. So anyway, so Shoots, really got to identify who that individual is. Remember, website designer, that's like arbitrary. What's the name of the web designer? Where are they at? What's their phone number? What's their email address? You know what I mean? Go sit down, get belly, and again, belly to belly. You could do this on the phone for sure, but if you can get belly to belly, toes to toes, eyeball to eyeballs with the website designer, I can tell you that the chances of getting that JV done and getting clients rather than from the wilderness, but as direct referral, here they are, with the joint venture partner, that's gonna help. So that's my answer, Shoots. What do you think?
And I'll just add this, be it JV, be it prospect, be it whoever, be it somebody that you're going to meet. Maybe you're going to, as we talked about, trying to join new circles and have new centers of influence around you. Take the time, take 5-10 minutes, research, right? Like the amount of information that we can learn about somebody, and then find something that maybe they're passionate about, that maybe you can bring up in conversation and then let them talk, right? Like, I just think that's just huge.
Look, they like kite surfing, and then you mentioned kite surfing. You have no idea how much rapport that with don't be cheesy. You got to be a little careful here, right? But again, they got 3 kids, you got 3 kids. You know what I mean? They went to Hawaii on their most recent vacation. You've been to Hawaii, you mentioned that. So they grew up in the country, you grew up in the country, they grew up in the city, you grew up in the city, you grew up in the country, and now you live in the city, so anyways, like building rapport in that manner. So going to somebody's, social media profiles could tell you an enormous amount, and it would take you 5 minutes. If you put 15 minutes, I think that would be too much, and not too much, that would never do too much, but you know what I mean? You'd have too much information to be able to, too many, things to build rapport with to be able to use. You'd just be picking 1 or 2. So there's the answer, and I agree, I like it.
All right, bud, I'm going to close it off. Again, folks, keep the questions coming, right? Keep those questions flowing in. And thanks for tuning into another episode of Business Coaching Secrets with the King of the Caribbean himself, King Karl. And again, if you're not on the inside, you're not getting access to the pre-show. You aren't getting Karl's daily emails. You aren't getting access to the software. You aren't getting, it goes on and on and on, folks. Listen, if you want to grow and scale your business coaching company, visit focus.com, subscribe today. And again, if you enjoyed the podcast, please share it with a friend. We want to get this message out and help as many business coaches as possible and as many business owners as a result of that. And again, of course, please leave us a review, like, share, do all the things. And that is it, folks, for another week. We will see you in the next episode. And remember, everybody, progress equals happiness. Take care, everybody.
Karl Bryan built Profit Acceleration Software 2.0 to train business coaches how to find any small business owner more than $100,000 in 45 minutes without them spending an extra dollar on marketing or advertising. This becomes a business coach's superpower. So as a business coach, you'll never again have to worry about working with business owners that can't afford your high-end coaching fees. Check us out at focused.com.